Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and just want to give you an update on the Bloomington project. We've got the concrete poured on the site. We've got the expansion cracks cut. Typically you want to go 3/4 inch cut, pretty much to code, so that if you do have any cracks in the concrete, it's going to be controlled in those particular areas. We've also got the garage poured. Did that earlier this week on Monday, and you can see the difference in color. This was poured earlier, the pad. This was poured just a few days ago, and it's still green. Green on concrete means that it's still curing. It takes usually between 35 and 45 days for concrete to kind of cure to its hardest, and it will keep curing even after that. I've been told that some of the concrete in the Hoover Dam and even some of the concrete at the base of the Golden Gate Bridge is still getting harder because it's still curing. It's poured in cool, cold temperatures, so it's going to cure harder and harder, over a period of time. Anyway, that's what I've been told. Concrete gets harder over time, and you typically don't want to start your framing until 3 to 7 days, 3 days minimum. Anything beyond 7 days is better to start your framing, because you're going to put your base plate right here on this wall, and you're going to tie down on those bolts, which means you're going to pull up on that J bolt, and it's going to put some pressure on that concrete. And so you don't want that to happen. You don't want that tightening to happen until the concrete has really had a good chance to cure. Anyway, we're here chalk lining. I just wanted to give you a couple things that I go through as a builder. A lot of the times when you're dealing with plumbing, especially slab on grade, is you've got to be really accurate with your plumbing. When your plumbing is put in the best spot, you're going to have an easier time framing. Well, I had underground HVAC and plumbing to deal with, and so that made it really, really difficult. So we're going to do a 2x6 wall right here, and you can see that we've got that chalk lined for that to accommodate all of that utility coming up through that wall. Now, in order to make that happen, I also have to make sure that I box out my plumbing right there where you see that. Plumbing right there. We box that out so that we can move and adjust the plumbing for bathtubs, showers, etc. A plumber did the same thing here on the toilet here. We did some extra padding right there so that we can adjust that toilet drain just a little bit to accommodate the 2x6 wall. Did the same thing over here. We've got a vent that was just a little bit off, and these are things you run into. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're adjusting the wall from a 2x4 to a 2x6 wall so that we can actually put that vent right inside the wall. You can see that right here. It was sticking out because we used a 2x6 wall, and now we adjusted that from a 2x4 to a 2x6 wall so the vent fits right inside that wall. And I knew that was going to be a factor. I widened that toilet room a little bit wider because I didn't want to encroach on the toilet. You need a certain amount of space from the wall to the toilet to the drain, and from the back of the wall to the toilet drain. So I wanted to make sure I'm within code there. So I actually, even before we started pouring the concrete, even before the plumbing was started, I widened that wall by about 6 inches so that I knew that I wasn't going to affect any code issues. Same thing here with the shower. We're going to have a walk-in shower here, a recessed shower. That's got to be poured. So we're going to box that drain out. About a 12-inch box, 12 by 12. Then we'll pour the last part of this. We'll dig it out 2 inches. Then we'll pour 2 inches in there, and then we'll box that drain out so that the plumber can make that adjustment and move that drain. It needs to be moved over about, looks like about 4 inches, so that it will be center in that drain. Other things we run into: one wall is not square. It's out by an inch, about 1.25 inches. So we're making the adjustment inside for the wall. You have to be square with your walls. You can't go by the slab. If the slab's off, you have to make the walls right, because the truss plant is going to come tomorrow. They're going to measure the chalk line. They're not going to measure the concrete. They're going to measure the chalk line, and they're going to go off the chalk line to design their trusses. The trusses are already designed. We've got a truss plan, well, at least the truss layout, and that's right here. So it kind of shows you the truss layout that we've got. And so when they come to measure, before they actually start to manufacture the trusses, they come and measure the chalk line, and the chalk line has to be square. And if the pad is not square, the chalk line has to, so we have to make some adjustments on that. Just a couple things that we deal with, or at least I deal with as a builder. This was a new concrete subcontractor that I used, and it's just off on one wall, so we're just going to make that accommodation. It was beautiful day today. It's a great day. We'll start framing on Monday. We're just getting the lines all dealt with. There's a lot of changes. I'm here just to take questions from him. This is Alcid. That's my framer over there. He's a really good guy. You know, I'm glad to have him. He asks me a lot of questions. He knows what he's talking about. Anyway, I'm glad it's not raining. You can see where the vents are. Here's one issue we're going to run into, but we had to do the vent that way. It's going to come into the wall, and of course we'll have the water lines, heating, HVAC lines. This is our main water line coming into the house. This will come into a water softener over in this particular area in the corner. And we changed a couple of things. Just one more thing I wanted to share with you. It was a way to save some money. Rather than build out a 16 by 16 inch column for support, back here we came up with a different idea. This here is a spot footing with a saddle bracket, and we're going to put an 8 by 8 post in here. It's going to go up and support the outside deck of the back porch. And we're going to do the same thing over there, but we've got to move that big rock. That big rock is in the way over here. Right about here is where that other second post is going to go, and we're going to pour that next Monday. But I ran up, got some nice rough sawn timbers, and we're just going to set those in there. It's a little bit overkill, but it's going to be beautiful. And rather than rock that, which is a lot of cost, and rather than frame all that, I think we were able to save quite a few $100s just by putting in a nice beam there. So the clients like that idea, and we're going to install those next week when we start to frame. So I'll share that with you. Anyway, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home. I wanted to show you one more thing that we did that was kind of interesting. Maybe you might want to do this with your home. A lot of people have pets, and they want to be able to wash their pet and clean their pet, but they don't want to do it in a shower in their bathtub, and you know, the mess and the dog shakes off. So we put a drain right here in the garage, and it's a slight 36 by 36 inch drain. So if you wanted to, you could actually wash your dog off. We'll have hot water and cold water right here, so we're not going to have to wash them in cold water, but they can do that in the garage, and it will drain right here. And if they shake off and whatnot, it's not going to be inside the house. So a nice little thing we did. We did the same thing out here. We put a drain right outside the footing, which is outside the envelope of the home. My client is a landscaper, sometimes comes home really dirty. We got a drain right there. So if he comes inside the home, here's the back door to his master bathroom, he can just turn on the water and shower himself off there and then come inside the home. Nice little touch. When we put in a pad out there, we'll have to put in a little drain and slope that off as well. So just some things we do about. The more things you can think about, plan ahead. We call that programming. At least an architect calls that programming, where you sit and talk with your client and you get a feel for them, what their lifestyle's like, how they live, and then you can start to add things into the home that really make their life pleasant and perfect for them. Anyway, I'll share another update as we start to frame. This is Keith Kelch with How to Build Your Own Home, another episode on the Bloomington slab on grade project. You guys take care.